Hiya.
Good morning.
Hiya, Sailor.
Afternoon.
So, talk to us first about this conviction, because this seems like, according to all the legal experts, this is kind of a big deal, as Joe Biden would say. It is hard to prove seditious conspiracy, and this was a good day for the government.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it absolutely was a great day. And for those of you who actually read the book, They Want to Kill Americans, you probably would have had most of the details of the indictment against Stuart Rhodes written out in that long narrative form, showing he had started this conspiracy way back in 2020. And I've mentioned several times on this show that the reason I wrote that book was the things we were seeing that were happening between the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys in August of 2020. And by September, they were exhorting all of their followers to start buying body armor, weapons, equipment, to go out and get tactical training and to be prepared for the post-election period. And that's when the true conspiracy began, that they were intending to act as a militia for Donald Trump personally, and to effect the overthrow of the government of the United States. So seditious conspiracy, with the last time that anyone had been convicted of that was in 1992, 1993, with the guy who blew up the first World Trade Center bomb, Omar Abdul Rahman, in New York City. Conspiracy to attack the United States. So now Stuart Rhodes is in the exact same position as Al-Qaeda.
Malcolm, I thought it was, which was it him or Kelly Meggs, who can keep these dirtbags straight? The one that said, was quoted as saying, I wanted to hang Nancy Pelosi from a lamppost. I thought it is an interesting straight line to the attack on Paul Pelosi. And the point of your book, in that the insurgency and January 6th has not ended. It is ongoing.
No, it's not ended. It's accelerating. And we are going to the point where now, look, now that the Republicans are taking the House, okay, if that's what it finally ends up being, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that they're going to, that they want to investigate their detention because they're political prisoners. And that Donald Trump is promising today to pardon every person that took part in the attack on the United States, which would include all of these people who are being put in prison. This is a war party. They are intending to do exactly as the title of the book says, to kill other Americans. They view their America as the only legitimate America. And granted, we have some convictions now out of this thing. But more importantly, that it's how this will permeate down the chain. Will people get more angry as their political leaders like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and the rest start saying that they're political prisoners and should be freed? Will we have prison breaks that are facilitated by guys on the inside? Will cops no longer arrest these people if they feel they have immunity? This could be a very long chain of dangerous actions. But for now, we have one good victory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, and that reminds me, we were just talking about in Colorado, the sheriff saying they're not going to enforce red flag laws. I mean, it's the kind of stuff you write about in your books in terms of, that's why to me this verdict was so important, is to send a message that, you will be, to try to send a message to people that would be emboldened by them getting away with this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll send a message for that. Because if you read the book, there's a whole section about this nutty ideology called the constitutional sheriffs. And these are people who believe in this weird philosophy that the sheriff is the only elected official who has any true authority, and that governors don't, military doesn't, the United States government doesn't, but that the sheriff does. And these people, these sheriffs who call themselves constitutional sheriffs, refuse to obey laws passed by anybody above them, so they can choose what they want. It is a dangerous precedent, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it.
Aye. By the way, you tweeted breaking case of fire. Find me at tapestry.org and soon to open malcolmnance.com to find about my post-Twitter world, just in case this thing suddenly stops and melts down.
Before anyone will ever figure out that it's true or not, what he has created is the perfect information warfare weapon system. And Twitter was that for a very long time. The Russians weaponized it, figured it out. Dictators figured out they could hunt their critics on Twitter. I really am part of the audience that, even though I'm going to stay on Twitter because I want to see what the last song is.
Yeah,
that
me
the
too.
band plays when it goes under.
Yeah.
Right?
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Yeah, but you know what? I have other platforms too. I know a lot of you want to hear more than the 20 minutes that I spend with you.
Yeah.
So I have a website. We're going to be moving over to Substack, and I want to see what happens with Twitter.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of good things that come out of there. But I suspect that Elon Musk was hired to destroy Twitter, to stop the global criticism of all of the world's dictators.
Yeah.
And now it will disperse down the little microsites that will never have the strength of Twitter.
Yeah. By the way, I want more than the 20 minutes I get a week of you, which is why I bother you relentlessly and call you and text you. But a lot of people don't have access to that. So,
Yeah.
Malcolm, as someone that's written all of these books about this, are you surprised or just numb to the suddenly people being surprised that Trump has had dinner with Nazis? Anti-Semites and all of these people. You talk about Charlottesville, you talk about all of it in your books, and now we're, several days later, some Republicans are cautiously, but only because, he's a political loser now. But as you've said, they'll snap right back with him the minute, they think, oh, the base is still with him. Well, how is this new that he had dinner with Nazis and racists and,
Oh, well, with the news media and their amnesia, they're what's essentially corporate amnesia. Anything Trump did was fun and interesting. But we've revisited this he's meeting with Nazis thing about 30 times, and how suddenly him meeting with Nick Fuentes, who was a straight up Holocaust denier, advocated genocide against women, and a flaming neo-Nazi who was hanging with the insane Kanye West. In my humble opinion, that man needs a straitjacket. All of these factors are suddenly new because everyone wants a new GD Trump story to get their readers excited, including many channels, and including ones that I've been a commentator on.
Yeah.
This is just the malfunctioning of the corporate media. And so when liberals come out and say that, hey, this has been going on for a very long while, that's bias. But when it actually comes up and it harms their party, then they're going to eventually figure out how to blame this on Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Joe Biden.
You can read all of this in They Want to Kill Americans, Malcolm Nance's latest book. And we cannot wait to hear about malcolmnance.com and more.
Yeah.
We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Ow.